Now let's see how React render to the browser. We will follow the same article in LinkedIn about React rendering. So let's first clone the GitHub repository, if you like, to follow up with me. So I did clone it, and then I will open it in Visual Studio Code. So you just say code and then dot, and it will open in Visual Studio Code, and over there you need to go to the directory, of course, as I said here, and then you do code dot, and it will open in Visual Studio Code. Let's adjust the screen a little bit so you can see the entire thing and we don't miss some parts from it. Okay, close this window, and all the work that we will do will be inside source index.js. You open the terminal by doing control backtick or tilde, which is in the right side up, top right side. Now all what we're doing here in index.js, let's first yarn install to get all the dependencies, and then we'll do yarn run start, and it will start the site. Yarn run start. Okay, so this, as you can see here, this is what it has built, and it shows here that it's already started the local host at port 8080. So let's, yeah, everything works fine. Let's go to localhost port 8080. And come here, let's do the console, clear the history. Okay, click me. You can see that here we're printing, we're increasing the count by 1, and we're printing to the console, and the console is printing the correct count. So now it is at 7, but the render, it's only render 0. So we defined it and we added a 0, and then we increased it when we click by 1, and we're printing it to the console. So let's see what's happening, why it's still printing 0 to the console. This is the way that React renders. Actually, it calls the function that renders, it's the function at line 23. It's React DOM.render. And it's called only one time when we start. When you do the click and the on-click event handler increasing and printing the console, it doesn't render everything again. So that's why, as I said on the article, let's create a function and we call it render. And we'll add everything inside it that we need to render, which is a template, and we need to define the template again and then render it. And so delete the second curly braces and put it at the end after .render, React DOM.render. And this way, every time we add it, so let's call it. So right now it disappeared, everything disappeared because we didn't call render, the new function. So we add render at the end, which is the same place that React DOM.render was there before, and then we save, and you will find that it's there, but it is not updating the browser. So the same problem, we just moved it to a function, but it's called one time. Now let's add it to the event handler, to the on-click event handler. We do render. So in this time, every time we increase the count, when click me, we click on the button, it will increase the count, and we print it to the console, and you can see the numbers are matching, and we render it because we call render right now. So count is 9 on the console and on the browser, and this is the code. This is how it renders. It's all about React DOM.render, and it doesn't, JSX doesn't like render every time you change anything on JavaScript, but what it does, it will render when we call render. So the first time, this is when we called it the first time when count 0, because we initialized it in 0, and then we render, which is the last one. Every time you click count, it will call render again and then print it to the console. So now they're right, it's rendering the right count number because it is rendering inside the event handler. So every time you do the event, you do it. Of course, this is not the right way to do it all the time. We will study in the next videos about, of course, React hooks and the life cycle for React. So let's go there. But to repeat again, this is the render function that we call every time. This is how React works, and there are ways to just wait for this event and render every time there is a change. You just add it as to monitor the change. You add a subscribe to certain event.